My brother Chris and I headed off to South Dakota to look for rattlesnakes. We figured it being the home of Mount Rushmore and all, it would be as good a place as any to find some. Lots of the state still belongs to rattlesnakes and to Indians. That's from the Treaty of Fort Laramie back in 1868, I think it was, when the United States of America promised the Indians the Black Hills forever. Now it's not even forever yet, and the Sioux Indians don't possess much of anything. I've always liked rattlesnakes, although they cost me my teaching job, my whole career really, but that's another story. Let's just say the U.S. of A. declared war on me, and I've been wandering in exile ever since, kind of like the Indians. I suppose that's why I like them so much. The U.S. of A. declared war on them, too. See, only in America could a man carve on a mountain on land that doesn't belong to him and chisel faces of the men responsible for stealing the land and then have the American people turn it into a tourist attraction. They call it Mount Rushmore, only in America. We had a heck of a good guide. Joe Horncloud is a Sioux Indian. His grandfather fought against General George Armstrong Custer, a real American hero, and he died at Wounded Knee, where his 15-year-old son, Joe's dad, somehow survived, and he went on to pay for and erect the only monument to that glorious battle, in which 23 U.S. soldiers received the Congressional Medal of Honor for murdering unarmed women and children. Joe grew up in a Catholic orphanage where he was taught his heritage was no good, and he was forbidden to speak his own language. It was a wonderful school, and Joe grew up to work for the U.S. government. It's a strange world, and it's a perfect day for rattlesnakes.
I would have loved you if only you left me. I could have broken the spell of your chance, but since you left me, you only forget me. We both know I never had a chance. I look all around me, I see nothing has changed. The world's still worn out and weary, it's always the same. And I'm so tired, I've lost my fire, and it seems like you're to blame. I would have loved you if only you left.
Red Cloud.
See, that's his building up there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the administration building there.
Mm-hmm.
See, when Ames came in here, all that's because we had, that was the headquarters of the marshals and everything, and they had a machine gun up on top. Barricade.
Jeez.
And this is our gymnasium. They call Billy Mills Hall.
Billy Mills, the runner.
Famous runner.
He'll be on a reservation tomorrow. I don't know where we'll be.
Really?
And there's where Terry and Emmett used to be.
Oh.
Right over there.
And that's where the other, what's her name, Terry?
Charlene?
Charlene?
Yeah, they both was in there. Now this church was it's made over, but this is the original spot where when after the Wounded deal, they brought the wounded survivors down here.
Really?
Yeah.
Right there.
So all this wasn't here then, see. When you get back to Charlene, you saw this place. They never used to run down place, and they got that all cleaned up. Whenever they got some money, they really fixed it up.
Yeah, where'd they get the money?
I think the government finally got some money from them.
Yeah. Well, that's what, when we were coming in, we saw quite a few new little houses like that, so it didn't seem to
Yeah,
be...
that's what they're doing now. Now you're heading south, going into...
Yeah. Sun's on our right.
Yeah.
Is this where those people that own the grocery store? Is this?
Yeah.
How did the Sioux view the Badlands, or the, what we
It's
call
kind
the
of a-
Badlands? Spiritual place?
You got time to see it?
Yeah.
Well, we drove through it a bit, but you want to
Yeah,
show
we
us
drove
some
through
more
the
of New Mexico?
Badlands, yeah.
Well, which way did you come into South Dakota?
Highway 90.
Highway 90, huh?
Yeah.
And then,
Then we turned down 240 and did a little loop sort of through the Badlands and came down
sort of
into
Cedar
Pine
Pass?
Ridge. I don't think we went through Cedar Pass.
Oh, Kadoka, huh?
Kadoka, yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds like a good combination.
Yeah. Now they build this on it, it's garbage pits and stuff.
Yeah.
That's another big controversy, isn't it,
Yeah.
about taking garbage in on the reservation?
Yeah, that's what they want to do. And so the heck no, this is where we live. Take care of your own.
Now, is there a proposal to take in toxic waste as well? No, just regular garbage.
Yeah. Now this is White Cliff. That's where that people Sioux, Randy Sioux.
Yeah, Randy and
Donna.
right.
Yeah. This is pretty well run down because it's, you know, not a lot of jobs are gone and you just barely living here. But this is where most of the guys come down and get drunk and want
Down here, right here.
Yeah, this is where
Oh, there
Randy's
it is. I
Market,
see it, Randy's Market. Yeah.
Can you see?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
You got a picture?
Yeah, I got it. Thank
Okay.
you.
And this is his store there.
Oh, it's closed, isn't it?
Yeah.
Why is this place famous, this little town?
Well, this is a part of a, back in those days, part of the reservation here, they call Extension.
Uh-huh.
And part of that they made into a town, stores and stuff like that, see,
Right.
close to the Pine Ridge. Oh, I forgot to tell you, you're in Nebraska now.
Yeah, we saw the sign, welcome to Nebraska.
Boy,
Looks remarkably like South Dakota.
Yeah.
Pine Ridge is just, half of it is in Nebraska practically, isn't it? I mean, it's just like all there together.
See, all those hills up there, they call it Pine Ridge area. So that's about pines, and that's what they...
Yeah. They cut a lot of those out there, didn't they?
Now in that direction is where a lot of the Indians use the route from here to Port Robinson. And that's where Port Robinson, that's where Sitting Bull got killed. And after he got killed, they brought the body back, and they always said he's buried someplace up there, but nobody would know.
Yeah.
Which way are the Black Hills, Joe?
Back
The other way.
The Indians with their horses gun. Too bad they didn't have all the good guns like the Army had.
If they had, might have been a different story,
Yeah.
huh?
They had a few Gatling guns back then.
They had their Sundance right in here, someplace in there.
And that was the last one?
Yeah, that's when the government didn't want to let them do that again.
When was that?
That was, after they started making a reservation.
About
They won't let them
1870.
do that, see. That's their religion, see.
And what, the church has brought about. Taking a few shots at it.
Yeah, go ahead, take it.
No, it looks
On
like
both sides.
bullets.
It's written on both sides.
Yeah?
Go ahead. It's hard to do anything here. Keep that. But he's like he said, he'll never get killed by a bullet. And I don't know why. I don't know why his friend, supposedly his friend, killed him. I don't know why.
Why do you think he surrendered? Why did he go into Fort Robbins?
Well, they were surrounded so much that I imagine he figured that there was probably going on. Maybe they have peace and then settle down, gradually settle back down there like they used to be, BC.
Mm-hmm.
But they didn't know that there's a lot of things behind it. The idea behind was trying to get rid of it. They thought by getting rid of Sitting Bull and Crazy Horse, maybe they might be able to settle everything down like they wanted to on the reservations and stuff.
Mm-hmm. But the soldiers that killed were intentionally massacring the buffalo, weren't they?
That I can't understand. That one guy killed all the buffaloes, just left the stuff rot out there in the field, and then they glorified him.
Who was that?
Buffalo Bill, Cody. He's a great man, instead of killing the defenseless animals. I don't call that
No.
waste of animals.
No.
Is Crazy Horse still a hero to your people?
Oh yeah. He'll always be something that they look up to, resisting the white coming in here and wrecked our country.
How do people feel about Sitting Bull? Is he a hero as well?
Well, like I said, those names that you see, and they're classified to me as people that are resisting the advance of the whites coming into the Indian country.
Very sad about all this litter.
Well, that's some, I don't know. It just seems like we try to clean it up, but that's the influence of the generation that came in here and trying to. That's supposed to be that's their way of living there, I guess. It shows up right here, nothing but trash. Indians never had anything like this. We don't waste anything, throw anything away to pollute the ground, Mother Earth. Well, shall we?
Okay.
There's spaces in it. Well, you find out what this little car can do in a dirt road like this.
Yeah.
They were camped, and then all around in a circle where the cavalry was stationed, all the way down the line, and there's from here where look like there's a smoke coming right straight ahead of us. Can you see? Just about right in there. That's where they had the Indian policemen was stationed there. And when the battles, when they start shooting each other, people would trying to get out this ravine going up the line here, trying to escape. All down this way now. Those Gatling guns were sitting right up here. See?
Up here?
08 on them. This is the monument there. Was put here back in 1903 by my father, on his own, out of his own pocket, and little contribution from different ones in here and there. And this is what's put up here. And where you standing there, that was the grave was right here, and you could see the dirt pile on top of that. And then the Indians back in those days, they used to have what they call a giveaway. They used to give everything that belonged to the people away, you know. And that was all scattered through here. And then back up around here was the people that was here at that time, stationed to watch this unveiling of this monument and want the dedication. They were all in that neighborhood there, because there was, back in those days, just this was here, see. The graves wasn't here then, see. And This is a monument with all the names on there. And I got, there's 2 uncles of mine, names here.
Who are your uncles, Joe?
Let's see, right in the number 16 and number 7. Let's see, 16 and 15 and 16.
Okay.
I know those 2 are my uncles, and on this side, if you can come on this side of it, this is my grandfather here. His name is here.
That's your grandfather?
Yeah. And that's his sons that got killed here.
And your father was killed here?
No, he wasn't.
Right, okay.
Yeah. He was only a small kid, 15 years old.
But he was here?
Yeah.
And he survived?
Yeah. And I don't know how he got out of here alive, but with all the shooting going on. On this here is my father's name on it. If you can get that, it's kind of hard to read. He's got the same name as I have, see.
Okay.
And then be sure you get this up here too. This is, see, that was facing this way. I remember that back in those days, it was a part that they really wanted to see, but they just, I don't know how the picture. And there's some more artifacts that they brought down here for honoring the people here. This monument is erected by surviving relatives and other Ogallala and Cheyenne River Sioux Indians in the memory of Chief Bigfoot Massacre. Happened here December 29th, 1890. And they had on a Colonel Forsyth in command of the United States troops. Bigfoot was a great chief of the Sioux Indians. He often said, "I stand in peace until my last day comes." He did many good things and brave deeds for the white people and the red men. Many innocent women and children who know, I can't make out what that is.
Innocent children who knew no wrong died here.
Knew no wrong, died here. That was what he told them to put on there.
That's your father
Yeah.
wrote that.
I don't know how he got the money, because back in those days, after that hostility and all that battle going on, and there's still a little bit scared of what might happen, see. But I don't know how he got the money, but he got it, something there in memory of what happened here, which I thought was a good gesture on his part to remember people that was massacred here.
It's a beautiful gesture.
Yeah.
I think I can get these names.
There's some on this side too.
Okay.
But this side.
These are names of the innocent victims who
Yeah.
died here. Spotted Thunder shoots the bear.
Mm-hmm.
Picked horses. Bear cuts body. Chase in winter. Tooth. It's whole. Red horn. High eagle. No ears. Wolf skin necklace. You want to read the rest, Joe? Can you read them? Can you see them okay? I'm at Lodge skin napkin. Charge at them. Weasel dare. bird shapes, big skirt. Here's where I can't. This is.
That's where they spill that paint, so it's kind of.
Yeah, brown.
They didn't get all of
brown
it off.
turtle. What's that interesting? Blue American. Pass water in horn. What's it say? Scathford knife. Scathford knife. Small. Well, I can't read that word. Small side bear, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Small side bear. And kills.
Yeah, I can't take what.
Chief Bigfoot, Mr. High Hawk, Mr. Shading Bear, Long Bull, White American, Black Coyote, Ghost Horse, Living Bear, Afraid of Bear, Young Afraid of Bear, Yellow Robe, Wounded Hand, Red Eagle, Pretty Hawk,
William Horncloud.
William Horncloud.
Sherman Horncloud.
Those are your uncles. Scatters them, redfish, swift bird,
He crow,
crow,
little water, and strong fox.
Okay. What happened here?
Well, back in those days when things were taking shape for something like this, was never in the mind of people that was coming down at Pine Ridge. And like over here on the top of the hill here, that's where they came down. And then they moved out bottom of this hill where they camped. And the cavalry was camped all around it, around the whole neighborhood, including the Indian police were in here. I don't know why they came in here. And they knew what was going on, but I don't know why they didn't step forward and tell them that there might be a shooting going on. We don't want that or something. Should have protest instead of that. They just followed through, just like everybody nowadays. Maybe they were paid off or something. Well, anyway, while they were in the council meeting there, the order came out to search the houses because there was not enough guns showed up. To begin with, they were searching for guns and one thing or another, and I don't know why they had to go ahead and do that instead of asking them to lay down their arms or something like this is a peaceful meeting. There was no such thing as that. They just told them that we want those guns out of here, and that's that. And that's about the way the Army operates anyway. One way or the other, you do it or you don't.
So they had asked the Indians, ordered the Indians.
They ordered the Indians, and then they ordered the cavalrymen to go out there and search them. And when they brought some old guns out there, and some of them had their own guns, but they didn't want to give it up because that was the only way to survive. Like get a game, get food and stuff like that for themselves, see, and sometime able to defend against them. And that's what happened. And then when the things start getting out of hand, in the Fracres, a gun went off, and that was probably a signal. Now, where we're standing here was the Gatling guns and the artillery pieces were here, and all zeroed in right at where the meeting's going on. And had a signal, I suppose, when the gun went off, the hell broke loose, you might say. And in the Fracas, they're shooting at each other, you might say, because they were scared and a bunch of green soldiers, I suppose. And then when the artillery started turning loose down here, and it was just a matter of minutes, they just wiped off what the people were down there. Then the rest of them were chasing the people all this ravine that you see down here. I always figured that ravine there is where some of them were running and trying to get away from the site where the battle was going on. And up on the top of the hill, up that way, on top of where the pines are, even some of them got that far down there and they were shooting at them from here. Cavalry chasing them, shooting right and left, women and children, and which to me was premeditated murder, because they looked like they were all set ready to go when all they want to do is wipe them up. And that's my interpretation of what happened here.
Your father was 15 years old?
Well, my father was 15 years old. He knew what was going on. He told them what was going to happen, but they told him as well, no, we come on the flag of truce and we'll abide by that. But you know how things happened back in those days. Words don't mean a thing. Shoot and ask questions afterwards.
And this was, you believe, a revenge act on the part of the...
It's just it showed there's no way you can deny it, but that was in their mind, to get even, because as part of this was the Cavalry, 7th Cavalry.
That fought at Little Bighorn.
Yeah.
And was defeated by the Sioux.
Yeah.
Now, your father was 1 year old at Little Bighorn at
Yeah.
that time, but your grandfather fought in Little Bighorn,
Yeah.
is that correct? And the cavalry was sent for revenge, basically.
Yeah, because when they found out that they were coming in this direction, and they had reinforcement coming from Fort Riley, and they were coming by the railroad train, and they're getting off at Rushville, Nebraska, and that was a part of you might say was the staging area, you might say, to go to Pine Ridge. And there were some already in Pine Ridge, and then what chance did the Indians have with all the fighting power around them, and whatever they had to defend himself was taken away from us. So what can you do but just stand up and trying to help yourself one way or the other, get away from here. But they were following them up, shooting right and left.
And you told me that the soldiers, some of them were rewarded by our government?
Yeah, well, when all that aftermath, when all this thing was sent out of the United States to show that what happened, the general of the army, or cavalry, I'm going to say, back in those days, the cavalry, wanted to give a severe reprimand for what happened here. And when they found out that the cavalry, what happened here with the cavalry, fault, just an excuse to kill a bunch of people to get even.
They got awarded.
And then I was talking to a guy, and I said the severe reprimand was Congressional Medal of Honor. 23 of them were awarded to some of those guys, and like everything else, they were probably shipped out to different parts of the country, so there won't be anybody coming back and tell them what actually happened, the truth part of it.
How is this, as a Sioux Indian, how has this affected you and your people, do you feel?
Well, they'll never forget what they've done to these people here. Like they asked me one time, you think they'll ever forget us? As well, you ask the people in the United States, will they ever forget Vietnam? And those prisoners, there are still some prisoners out there. Well, the parents and people and the relations, will they ever forget? It's just like everything else. You don't forget something that happens to you.
Beautiful. Is there anything else you'd like to say about?
Well, to me, on this ground that I was standing here, I'll repeat something similar to this, and I have that on tape. And back in those days after World War II, when I came back here, they used to have what they call Bigfoot pilgrimage, and there would be intellectuals from paleontologists, geologists, and writers, and different people of different vocations came down here. Everybody was interested in this Wounded Knee deal, and they used to make a trip from start out of Walden, South Dakota, and they followed the route coming through here, and then they used to come up here, and this is where they used to stand up there, and somebody might give a speech about what happened here. So one day when I was with them, and they asked me, I said, we heard all the write-ups and stuff like that. So he says, why don't you tell the insides, the real story on the Indian side of their feelings and what happened here. So I told him, I said, well, I'm the least informed person when it's something like that. And when my dad was the main one of them, he was just a kid here, and I was too small. I was 80 years old when he passed away. So I'm not too familiar with, but little bits of here and there from the older ones. I have two uncles that they used to talk about it back when I was a kid, but I just picked up here and there. So I told a story where, to me, this is something that I to this day I still think. Where I'm standing here, to me, when I was telling the story, to me it looked like the words were coming out from this grave. Somebody's telling what happened. The atrocity they had here, and the story was that the story I'm going to tell, related to you guys, what I had taped before, different outfits, was down around here, someplace in there. There was a cove in the ravine there where there was a flag like what you see here, one of those things here, fluttering in the wind after 2 or 3 days after the battle over. And this was all snowed out on a blizzard, and it was flooding around over in one of those places. So the guys were standing up here surveying the whole area. Thought, well, let's send somebody out there to see what that is. So they sent a guy out there. So he went out there, and he stood there and he put his head down, and he just had his head down, just standing there. So finally I hollered at him, "What's the matter?" He says, "You guys come on down, see this, see what you done." So they went down there. Against that cove was a mother with a child, cuddled up close to him and had arms around him, and the child's legs were way up with the knees. You could see the knees close to his chest, and she was hugging him trying to keep him warm. And there's a bullet went through the kid's knee and went through the body and to the mother, and they both bled to death, and the blood was still. That's what he saw, and he just couldn't stomach. And that, to me, looked like it came out from here, from the ground here, through me telling that part of the story. One of the incidents that they want some people to know how they were treated during that. After all the fighting was over, they still find them here there. And to me, stories from when they dug this hole here, threw the bodies in it, some of them were still alive, but they were thrown in there. And while they were throwing them in there, they were stealing stuff off from the shirts and stuff, whatever they had. And some of the stuff was in the museum up back east. And the same story that I'm telling here, and also what I had back in those days, was Tom Brokaw came to visit me, and I told him the same thing. And the same story came out from a group out of San Francisco, I think it is. They call it the Wiping of Tears. And while I'm telling that story here, it's in there.
Thank you.
Like back in days when I was telling that story, what happened here, when I got through telling that story, I looked around here. Part of the people that was here were pulling out, they couldn't stand it.
I hardly can.
Of what happened when I was telling them how the mother was hugging that little kid, trying to keep him warm, and in the meantime, somebody shot right to the knee and killed both of them, bled to death. I was reading books here and there, and extras from different writers, and then one particular one that hit the nail on the head, you might say, was after reading all this stuff, what happened here. And so he went through everything, and after he got through, and he said he had that wrote up on paper and sent it in, I suppose. He had it published because that came out. And it says on there that we were the savages. We came here to annihilate a noble people here that I can't think of that, what I want to say now.
Oh, that's beautiful. You were the noble people and we
Yeah.
were the savages.
They were the savages, and then they said, well, and here we are tearing up their land, exploiting everything that is here, digging holes here and there, and polluting everything, water, sky, and eliminate a lot of the animals and birds, whatever those here. There's a lot of them that no longer exist here. A lot of endangered species they're trying to save them now. That's because what they happened there. They got greedy.
Exactly.
Great big letters, C-R-E-E-D. Okay, that's the way I think about the people that came here.
Yeah.
Like one old Indian says, when the Indians are gone, there won't be no America. Because the present people they hear, they're going to use up everything and exploit everything and eventually destroy themselves. That's what when some guy said, which look like it's true too to this day.
And your father championed this out of his own money. I mean, this was just
Yeah,
something...
out of his own money, whatever money he had, and probably borrowed here and there or somewhere. I don't know how he got the money, but he did.
What a beautiful legacy.
That I was trying to find out something about him, but it's pretty hard to tell because there's nobody that I can talk to or get acquainted with and find out what happened back in those days. Because most of the older ones that are gone now.
Yeah.
I'm included in that now. Of course, consider myself endangered species.
It's like your responsibility to tell this story for the people who aren't here.
Yeah, they should have we should have stuff like this years ago when some of the original survivors were still alive. They could really got some good stories out of there. What happened, how they lived, one thing or another. They lived off the land. You know what land provided them. That's what they used.
Well, thank you.
Imagine those artillery things were sitting right down here, just zeroed in.
So they were down by the green sign.
Yeah.
And why were they all down here? Was it for a ghost dance?
No.
No?
See, they're going to Pine Ridge, and Army intercepted them over the hill here, and Bigfoot was sick, so he couldn't go any further, so they said they would camp here overnight.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's what they probably wanted them here anyway. So when they came over here and camped here, next day I guess they want to have a conference to see what they're going to do, and then they basically couldn't go any further, so they wouldn't want to search them, guns and everything, to make sure that they don't have any guns on the way up there, I suppose. And then what happened is that, like I say, one had a gun, supposing that the story came out that he said, this gun I paid a lot of money for this gun, I'm not going to give it up. And he was telling him in Indian, he was telling about that. And what happened was, to me, if you was in the Army, when they have a rifle inspection, the guy comes down and grabs it out of your hand, just jerk it out of your hand. Well, that's probably what was Army.
Yeah.
What happened there, and the gun probably went off, see? And that's all it took. That was a signal. They just start shooting.
And they were up here with their big guns.
Probably right here.
Right in here, yeah.
Yeah.
Why do you think the Army came here? I mean, was it because there were, 350 or 400 Indians all together, and they thought there was going to be a problem?
No, I don't think so. I think what happened is, to me, that's the reason I always say, to me, it's a premeditated murder. Was they put the surveillances all on them when they left this group here, when they left Canada coming back this way. So they came to Devil's Lake, and there's some Indians still there, reservation there, something, and then they come to here. And when they start out, there were surveillances put on there. Cavalry units here and there reporting they're moving so and so.
So they didn't actually live on this reservation. They were coming back from Canada, and they were going to come back here to live.
Yeah. Well, they were coming back to see Red Cloud. I think they're just having a hard time right now adjusting to a new way of life. So there's a lot of education. There's quite a few now got degrees, and some with master's degrees, some with doctor's degrees. So, but the only thing is they don't come back.
Do you think that's the best hope for people is to become educated? And do you think joining the mainstream and succeeding that way is the best? There's no real alternative?
That's it.
Yeah, there doesn't seem to be an alternative.
Because there's nothing else here for them to do. There's no way to farm it or way to what's called. See, anything that you want to raise, it's kind of hard. Because this part of the country, sometimes we have a dry spell. And then sometimes we don't. And we had during the early 30s when they had that dust storms, that was really something. You see that dust storm coming up from up there. So you can see the Black Hills from here.
Yeah, right there.
Where are they?
Have you ever heard of Ayers Rock? Uluru?
Yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah, that was one of the biggest tourist destinations or places in Australia, and they've just given it back to the Aboriginal people, and the government, or the National Parks and Wildlife Service, administers it for the Aboriginal people, but they have complete title to it. Mm-hmm. Do you think that could happen in the Black Hills?
I hope so.
Yeah.
But you might know there's so many people living there in a pieces of land that we're supposed to be entitled to. See, there's a lot of money involved in it, and there's quite a bit in the treasury now that's allotted to the Indians for payment of that Black Hills, but they don't want that money. They want the land back.
They want the Black Hills.
And naturally, they know what's good for human life. Money won't do them any bit of good. It's gone. It's here and gone tomorrow. So that's what the big holdup is right now. That Uncle Sam don't want to lose the land.
No.
I think they were back of their mind. They think there might be some gold in there.
No doubt.
The land's worth a lot now. All those horrible tourist places make a lot of money, and they're starting to. I just read in the paper they're going to log near Harney Peak.
Yeah.
They don't have any dignity, any.
That's right.
No integrity.
They disregard nature's way of providing stuff for the growth of plants and everything. See, the Indians honored everything that's on this earth here. Even the insects and ants and stuff crawl under there. They consider them like a big family. They're making a living off this land. So why bother? Why eliminate them? Because that's part of to make up the land we lived on. Yeah. Okay.
A big hill here.
Is this